DonInLondon, hello. It's May 14th, 2009. My video is all about recovery from addiction to either substances or behaviour. My substance or favourite substance of addiction was alcohol. My behaviour, workaholic, relationshipaholic, any old ollie, healthaholic, you name it. I would try to be perfect and never so. And I always start off that way because that starts to remind me to slow down into the moment of now. And a friend of mine just texted me on my mobile saying, I feel not right about my situation. And often when that happens, it's because we can't accept what the status quo is, what it is like today. And for me, that's simply being able to see the truth of now, or being here in the now. That spiritual thing. The spiritual thing is something everybody does every single day, either to the good of life or to the less good of life. But we're all spiritual. You know, there's no big trick in this. There is no mountain you can climb and get a better view of spiritual. You just probably have a better view of what's on offer from the mountain. And whether we're in the valleys or wherever, there is beauty all around us. Now, I couldn't have said that 5 years ago, I don't think. Not with such certainty. But a lot has happened in the last few years, and that is about seeing the world as it is. And this thing about reality, with able to see, feel, touch, understand the world a little bit better without filtering it out and without denials about my situation, gives me a conscious contact with now. And you know, that is the spiritual leap, if you like, the leap into the ever-present moment of now, where it's timeless. We don't have to look backwards or forwards. We can just be now, in the being of now. And I'm emphasising that because often I go speeding along, rushing to find some sort of sanctuary, when in fact sanctuary is always with me if I stay in the ever-present moment. And that's hard because we know we have a finite amount of time. We want to feel good about ourselves, and we forget we need to do some very basic routines to keep ourselves well, especially if we're in recovery from addiction. And so I go to AA, the Fellowship of AA, Alcoholics Anonymous. I cannot speak for it. It is full of unique, authentic people who can speak for themselves if they wish to. And I can speak for myself here on YouTube about my recovery and how AA helps me. So at every meeting I go to so far, the AA preamble is shared, which explains what the fellowship can do. And it goes like this. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution, does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. And so in that last sentence where it says, our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety, the idea of being sober is in three ways: emotional, spiritual and physical. So my emotional sobriety is knowing what my feelings are on a daily basis, be they good feelings or bad feelings, how I really feel about now. And the physical is getting away from the need to medicate with drugs. And alcohol is a drug. It's the surest way to take the edge off our feelings, and if we do it for far too long we get stuck with it. So spiritual for me is now, and it's the greatest gift given to every person on the planet. And nobody's spiritual is better than another person's spiritual. We're all on the spiritual path, and it never changes. It's being in reality, being able to accept what is, and what we see, and what we may do to change our own lives. We have choices. So the gift for me always is being in the moment as much as possible, and having a weather eye for what is interesting to me, and for life to be happy, and to be a part of, to be included in this weird family, world, the community we live in, the society we live in, and utilise to good effect what is around me in the right way, which is me simply being the same size as other people, no bigger, no smaller, no less important or more important. So I suppose I've tempered down my ego, putting on a brave face and fearing life as if life was something to be feared always. So I'm just learning how to be human. Human being rather than human doing. And you know, we all get stuck in doing things because we think we'll get some pleasure out of it, when in fact being in the moment rather than doing the moment means we're actually understanding and savouring it. It's like a feast, and sometimes some of the feast we won't like because it's not for us to like. We just don't like it. So we just learn gently the path to serenity is accepting how things are today and then working out what we can change. So AA, 12 steps, 12-step program of attitude and behavioural change, if we choose to do so. And the biggest one we have is step 1, being powerless over alcohol if we take a drink and life becoming unmanageable. And then the other steps which follow are about living well. And that's in good health and good outlook, good emotions if we have them, or bad ones if we're suffering tragedy, and understanding this spiritual moment. And I use daily reflections here on YouTube just to explain a bit more about what's making my life work and tick, even when it's been horrible for the last few months with very bad bouts of depression. And if anybody suffers from depression, I know how bad it can get for me, so I can only imagine just how bad it can get for you. But right now it's stable and well managed professionally by people who know how to help me. So daily reflections is all about the 12 steps, 1 a month, and 5th month is step 5, sharing our fear-less moral inventory, which is the good and bad of us, with another human being. We can share it with the inside of us, our good conscience and God. At the same time, if we express it to another, we have a better chance of understanding we're just human. And there are consequences to our lives and what we've done so far, which we need to face up to. So in the daily reflections for today, it says, it's okay to be me. Time after time, newcomers have tried to keep to themselves certain facts about their lives. They have turned to easier methods, but they had not learned enough humility. Humility sounds so much like humiliation, but it really is the ability to look at myself and honestly accept what I find. I no longer need to be the smartest or dumbest, or any other est. Finally, it's okay to be me. It is easier for me to accept myself if I share my whole life. If I cannot share in meetings, then I had better have a sponsor, someone with whom I can share those certain facts, whatever they are, which we fear. That could lead back to a drunk, to death. And I need to take all the steps. I need the 5th step to learn true humility. Easier methods do not work. And the gift in that really is really understanding that every word that we use to describe what we've done in the past has been used millions of times. So, you know, if it's been used millions of times, we're not the first one to discover something about ourselves which we may not like. And how do you get to forgiveness? It's understanding, probably, that with all the information at our disposal at that particular time, we were doing the best we could do, even when it was the worst things we could do. And that's what addiction does to us, often. As Bill sees it, seeing as I've talked about spiritual being in the moment, page 101, I'm just doing these linearly, so this is how it's come out. The spiritual angle. How often do we sit in AA meetings and hear the speaker declare, but I haven't got the spiritual angle. Prior to this statement, he has described a miracle of transformation which has occurred in him, not only his release from alcohol, but a complete change in his whole attitude toward life and the living of it. It is apparent to everyone else present that he has received a great gift, and that this gift is all out of proportion to anything that he may have expected from simple AA participation. So we in the audience smile and say to ourselves, well, that guy's just reeking with the spiritual angle, except that he doesn't seem to know it yet. And you know what? That's true of everybody, because if we're living in the moment, we are spiritual, and the better we can live in this present moment and understand it completely and get something out of it, not to the detriment of anybody else, but to the good of all, including ourselves, then we're probably on the right path, just for one day. So when I exhort a prayer or meditation to God or to good conscience, which goes, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. It's in the moment and just simply for one day.